going full remote, decentralized, distributed, whatever you want to call it, not being able to reach out and strangle people that you put trust in, be like, damn, like it's an ultimate challenge.
What is up, everybody? This is Ryan here for the Scale Up Show. I have an awesome guest. I have Michael Brooks on today. Michael is the founder and CEO of goLance, where he built a company. Listen to this. You're not going to believe this. He built a company of $40 million plus with only freelancers. You're not going to want to miss it. Check it out. Welcome, everybody, to the Scale Up Show. This is your host, Ryan Staley, and I have a very special guest with me today. I have Michael Brooks. Michael is the founder and CEO of an award-winning online freelance marketplace called goLance, and he's made it his mission to help others by finding new business solutions through digital marketing and electronic payments. Michael, welcome, man. Happy to have you on the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me part of the program. I appreciate it. Really
I'm
happy
excited,
to be here.
man. I love hearing how marketplace CEOs run their business because there's so many nuances to it. So before we get too deep into it, let's do a real quick revenue rundown so everyone has an understanding of where you're at in your journey. So where are you at in terms of your ARR?
So we did 44 million last year in gross service revenue. And that was big. A chunk of that was managed development. We've opened up a small to mid-sized business managed services. So where instead of just people posting a job and finding somebody, it's great, we love it. People come to our company and say, "Hey, can you just build this for us?" So we picked up some really good small to mid-sized businesses there. So that's where we're at last year. I think we're on track to do anywhere from 58 to 65 awesome this year. Depends on whether we can collect all the invoices or not. But we're pretty.
That's fantastic growth, man. You're absolutely killing it. So how large is your team?
So we have our team is completely remote. So it's remote and it's all freelancer based. So we eat our own steak and we eat our own vegetables too. So our team is totally comprised of people that, yes, they have a tracker and they have all the time commitments, but they don't have any specific time they have to work for us. So it's hey, here it is. Here's the work. Do as much or as little of it as you want. And people tend to do as much as they can. So with that, we're about 50 people strong.
All right, a little bit to hear, dig deeper into that a little bit later. And what's your primary go-to-market strategy, like in terms of revenue creation?
Yeah, bloody knuckles, knocking on doors. So there was I hired this young guy right out of high school. Like you think college, but no, this was like right out of high school, and just a great kid. And I mean, he's still a kid. The guy's just he's still a kid, but he's been with us for like 7 years now, and he and I just work together, and he's run the entire sales team, and I do a lot of business development. We do get a lot of organic business, a lot of organic traffic. I do a lot of podcasts. I'm big on Quora. I do a lot of answer. I mean, we don't spend any money on Google ads or Facebook ads at all. We spend the money in the time. So we have me, and then I've got a few other people I work with that go out on Quora Answers. We go to Facebook group, LinkedIn Answers, and we find that providing value is the best marketing one can do. So when I say bloody knuckles, digitally knocking on doors, but somebody posts a question that we have the ability to answer. And if we don't, we'll go find the answer, and then we serve it up in a manner which is authentic and that has value. And doing the numbers, it's not that hard to get to very profitable for your time when you're looking at actually just going, yeah, not everybody I help is going to hire us. But if we just go and help people, then we get typically responses for that. I'm also a big and avid writer, and I push a lot of content out there. I've written 3 books, 2 on electronic payments, nice. 1 on remote work. And then I also knock out articles here and there. I do a lot of articles on digital assets, cryptos, It's a hobby, but we get attention from it, and it's good attention. So that's been our go to market strategy. It's pretty unsophisticated, just kind of out there in the world, finding people that have questions and answering it, and then going on the next, and then just the philosophical perspective of goodwill.
I mean, I don't know what we would call that. I've never heard anybody refer to it as the bloody knuckles go to market strategy, digital bloody knuckles, but I like it, man. So
I used to sell I used to sell pizza coupons door to door, so I knock on a lot of doors.
all
I
right,
get my
this is
knuckles
gonna
bloody.
sound like I'm like 200 years old, but in college I sold yellow page advertising door to door. So and got
Nice,
so
nice. My respect level was starting up high, Ryan.
through the roof.
Bam.
Wait. This is going to top it off. Now, my initial job, and then I'll get back on track so everybody doesn't roll in their eyes. So, my initial job, though, that I was going to roll with, that I was so excited about that I backed my car into a pole in high school, was selling Cutco knives. And my parents would not let me take the job because they thought I would just constantly hit up their friends as prospects, which makes sense now.
Yeah, and the car would be probably
But
not in
dude, my
great
answer
shape.
was, yeah.
I got a sale.
No. It
Wham.
was from the training. I'm like, they offered me the job, backed up, boom. I'm like, doesn't matter. I'm gonna make so much money this summer crushing it, selling knives that it's not gonna matter that I got a little $800 knock on the station wagon with wood grain siding. So, yeah, that's right. So, anyways, we won't go too much into my past, but real quick, walk us through your solution, your marketplace, kind of how it works, and just what the solution is.
Sure. I mean, it works a lot like some of the other guys out there. From a like just a simple posting a job, finding somebody that can fill that job, and then hiring them online. So, say you wanted to build a website, you post a job for a content writer, you post a job for someone that is a web designer, and so on and so forth. So you post these different jobs. We try to get some really qualified, good people to apply. You select the person that you want. We bill you. We pay them. Differentially, we tend to check our clients out more and check our freelancers out more. We're constantly working on ensuring quality. Right, that's a huge uphill battle. Constant. Hey, how do we make sure this person is going to do great work for this person? How do we make sure there's going to be a harmonious relationship with the client? And there's a lot of cultural work that we attack. We're not just simply transactional, keeping everybody on the platform so we can make our rip and then saying, bugger off. Like that's not us. Um, we're constant. We've done two. We're the lowest priced freelance platform I think out there. We price like an Airbnb, right? Whereas so all in we're 7.95%. Whereas we have a competitor. I don't want to say their name. I'll just call them Schmuckwork. You can decide if you know them. They charge the 5% to the client and then 20% to the freelancer, and then they tier down. And I don't know. They may have some different fee structures. That's the one that they advertise that I've seen, and I think that's the one the vast majority of the people are on. And I think that's provides challenges. And we've talked to people we've talked to people throughout that our journey, but it seems to me, and we've spoken with people that have said, "Hey, I've been working for Schmuckwork, and I have a client, and I charge a lot of money, and they just want to get on the phone with me, and I've made all this money with them. I've done all kind of stuff, and I give my number, and immediately freezes their account, and then it's a flag and a violation. They want all the communications to be in their ecosystem, and yeah, we think that sucks, right? It's just it's kind of messy, and you're going to be constantly fighting a war of attrition because people aren't going to be happy, and nobody wants to be owned, right? And I don't know about you. I mean, you're a sales guy, right? I'm a sales guy. Sometimes you just need to pick up the phone and talk to somebody to work something out. And if I'm paying a platform to make it so I can't do that, and it's not like I'm not getting a great deal. It just feels it feels like a bad relationship. So we're very open. We're very transparent. We're in the business of doing plugins and adding value, adding in Slack, adding in Zoom, connect with people the way that is going to be most effective to your work. And then we try to cause as little pain with the fee structure as possible, allowing people to toggle, setting the toggle in the middle. So we recommend 3.9% to the client, 3.9% to freelancer. Nobody feels hurt. Everybody feels like they get a lot of value. And then adding in different elements, virtual cards, soon physical cards, which have a lot of cost when you use outside sources. So payments, backbone, very strong. um, and just kind of keeping in that vein, going, dude, we want people to work with us forever, and I don't want to watch and see if they're having a phone conversation on Slack, right? I don't want that. I want them to talk, and I want it to work better on our solution. So that to me is the biggest problem with the industry right now, is everybody that hops in wants to disintermediate because they're like, I meet you here, let's go over here. And I get it. But it's like not fair to the platform, but the platform's not really being that fair. So we're going, how can we make it work for everybody? And sure, some people are going to shave a couple points here and there. But you and I talked about this when we were just discussing about we was using that service, and I could use somebody else for it and our own people. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? That, like, let's just be fair. I've got a good thing going with them. They take care of stuff. I pay a little bit of a premium, but you know what? I feel really good about the work they're doing. So I'm gonna let it ride. And so I think by and large, people are good people, and they're not out to cheat you, and they're out to at least try to do good, and that's who we want to work with, because that's who we end up working with for long periods of time. And we top stats. I mean, our clients stick with us for like ever, like they just stay. And if they don't, it's because they've moved on, or they're not doing that specific business. If they leave us, we consider it deeply painful, and we self-reflect, and we do whatever we can to build our business in a way to get them back, because we really do care about that.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think you're right. Like, it's okay to leave some money on the table in instances, right? If you have that retention and you have really happy customers. So I think that's some great wisdom there. What is up, everybody? Thanks for checking this out. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss it. Also hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode at all. And if you want to find out more about how I can help you or your organization, check out my website, www.ryanstaley.io. Now we're back to the video. Are you bootstrapped or are you funded?
Fully bootstrapped. And I mean, like, you look at Schmuckwork, and they've got a lot of shareholders. They've got stock pressure. Like, I know that business. But back in a very long life ago, I was a stock promoter for like 20 minutes. And I just understand how much pressure these guys have to keep their stock up. And like, their shareholders are their investors. Our shareholders are our freelancers, and very much our clients. So when we go, okay, this is how we exist through this community, this chicken and the egg, who comes first, right? We can over service that and continue to service that. And then we don't have to run two businesses, right? I don't want to run a capital raising stock management business and then also providing value. So we go, okay, we're going to turn away from a lot of revenue. We're not going, let's blitz scale, like, it sounds great, right? But it's like, how like what's the end? What's the end game? Like, we want to build systems. We want to build relationships that last forever. I'll tell you the difference between this company and every other company I founded. And I've had plenty of probably failed more than the vast majority of people tried. But with this one, I was coming off of a really bad time, and then I got an upswing, and then I stabilized with my other company, which is e-commerce, subscription billing, SaaS platform. I'm going, okay, cool. It's got a managing partner there. Doesn't really need my attention. I can kind of guide and whatever, but what do I want to do? And I was 36 at the time, and I'm like, well, how long do I want to work? I like working. I like it, Ryan. So I'm going, okay, how long do I want to work? How long can I commit to working unless I get sick or die or something tragic? I don't see myself quitting until at least 75, 76. So I'm like, okay, let's just put 40 years on there. Just put 40 years on the clock. right? And then work backwards from there. And then so this was the business that I committed to. And I'm just going to commit. And then when you do that, you start making, when you can make a 40-year commitment, you make different relationships, right? You make different relationships with your spouse than you do with somebody you met on Tinder, right? Unless that turns into a spouse, but that changes the nature of it. But like you make different decisions. You have different expectations of yourself and everybody else around you. When you take such a long view and you go, no, no, I'm here, I'm going to be a staple here, and yeah, incremental growth is going to add up to a lot. I don't know when we're going to hit that massive scale, but we've got serious year over year growth that we're happy about. Turning down business, saying no, this is no, no, turning down terms, turning down stuff. Hey, sorry, we can't take that right now. We don't meet the requirements for you. We'd love to, but we're going to go take care of our current community and grow a little slower. Turning down capital more than anything else has been a serious
Yeah,
challenge,
I can see that.
and I get hit
Uh,
all the time.
So how long has it taken you to get from to this 43 million mark if you bootstrap?
Yeah, so we're 7 years live
Wow,
now.
that's awesome. And would you say that's primarily because of your I guess value led go to market strategy where you're just answering questions and helping people out on Quora, Facebook groups, LinkedIn, writing
Yeah,
articles?
yeah, that's it. So with the e-commerce company, people needed help setting up their websites and stuff. So I went and found some really good developers. In fact, guys that have made over $1 million on goLance, which I love it when they're in the seven figures club. Like that is exciting. So one of them is uh, as far as Omsk, Siberia, which I actually visited because I was out in Russia a long time ago for for a conference, and then I just popped down to visit him. And if you ever have a chance to go to Omsk, Siberia, the thing about it, and I say this with all due respect, it's not a great place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. Never go back. Never, dude. It's not the spot. But I just found out that I was like, dude, you're a good guy. You do good work. Your prices are fair. I can sell a value, and I can go give somebody else a value and make a couple bucks myself. Great, which we used to build a platform. So I went out and just selling him. And then he went and got a team. And he's like, well, it'd be great if we could split payment and I could charge this and you could charge this. And this is how visibility management. I was like, okay, we'll build that. And so we built a lot of our subcontracting system through that logic. And that allowed him as a solopreneur to turn into an entrepreneur. And that was really exciting. So we were really good about going out, finding work, and then it kind of built up and built up. And people started asking questions. Hey, what's with this freelance platform? And then of course the sharks come out. I mean, we get sharks coming out all over the marketplace, two-sided marketplaces. They're always trying to hit us, and we fight it off the best we can. Every now and again we lose a couple bucks, but we learn. I've even offered to pay guys that have like stolen from us at the early days. I was like, hey, that's really good. How'd you figure that out? I'll just pay you. You just show me what you did. And they're like, what? No. I'm like, no, we found you on VK.com talking about this with somebody else. And most of the time we figure it out on our own and we tighten it up. So when you're in this kind of space, right, to manage, I mean, we've had, I think, $2,000-$3,000 in chargebacks over a year. That's like unheard of, right? It's unheard of because we really qualify our clients and we try to find people that are going to be on the platform, be engaged with their freelancers for the long haul. As we grow and as we start to pull the band-aid off a little, um, open up the gas a little bit, that may change. We may loosen those restrictions and allow a little bit more of an automated process. Right now, we're a little more hands-on, and we're doing that to keep ourselves safe and keep our community safe and not get into some of the trouble we've seen other guys get into.
Well, I think that's a pretty cool story on how you guys started and how you started to grow. I guess like like, the thing that I'm really curious about, and I love that you built around the guy in Siberia and you went and visited him. I think that's cool. That's a great story. So, but like, we were talking about your go to market and how you really just try and help people, and I know you created those books, but like, walk me through that, like all the way from the writing to the answering questions, like how much time do you spend on that, daily, and then how much do you deploy your team on that? Because I think that's like, I talked to a guy who went from, he was in jail, right, to getting like 1 million followers on Instagram and Facebook, and having a multi-million-dollar business in about 9 months. And one of his key strategies were he went live every day for an hour, and then he would answer questions for like 2 hours on anything related to his subject. And so you kind of piqued my curiosity that you mimic some of the same strategies. So I'd love to hear just kind of like step by step if someone wanted to grow, because that's amazing, man. To go in 7 years to like 43 million, that's fantastic. So what do you do? What's a framework someone can apply like instantly that you did in their own space?
First, wow, like that's crazy about your friend. Um, and yeah, the time intensive. It's time intensive. It was a lot more for me at the beginning, and then now I brought in people to help, and they do their own content, their own messaging. But it, yeah, it saved us a ton in ads. It saved us a ton in ad budget, and now we probably, like, dollars wise, I probably spend a lot less on the people that are going in and specifically answering, that are just wearing our badge, right? They're wearing our badge in their banners. I've spent a lot less on that than I would on buying ads. You can blow money buying ads very quick. So how can people deploy it? Well, like I said, Quora is my like number one. So I have a friend who does CBD. He's an e-com marketer, CBD, and he's a huge marketer. And I was like, look, Derek, man, what's your cost per acquisition? And I think he said 120 bucks. And I'm like, okay, 120 bucks. So 240. If you're picking up a content writer that's writing for your brand, that's answering every question on Quora, or you got Yahoo Answers, or there's all kinds of Facebook and LinkedIn groups. Go joining all those groups, and like your guy is going live. Man, what a strategy! I might take that strategy. I'll try and, I don't want his background, but like, but God bless him for what he did since in 90 days. Or you
It
say
was like
9
nine
months.
months. It was 9 months, but still,
That's still,
still
it's
very good
huge.
though.
But so if you find, so we have, and we can help people. We mentioned we have good English speaking content writers in South Africa. We work with a lot of people in South Africa. About $6 an hour to start, and that's a good solid writer. So that works out to about 250 a week, right? So six bucks at 40 hours. So that person answering all those questions has to get two people to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Two people spending 40 hours a week talking to people, making friends. Has to get two people. Hey, where can I get high quality CBD? Well, let me tell you everything there is about CBD. Let me give you all the answers on it. This is our brand, but buy whatever you want. Try not to be too self-aggrandizing. That's like, there's so many, you could keep that person busy all day. I don't know how many orders a week he's getting, but I'll bet it's more than two. If you're out there bloody knuckle knocking on doors, talking with people in a digital environment, 40 hours a week, and you have somebody dedicated to that, um, yeah. And so his cost practically, it costs him 120 bucks to get a customer. So he has to get two customers a week, having someone full time just discussing with potential customers, answering their questions. What's gonna do it, right? Buying a bunch of ads and having a little like fun image on there, and then driving traffic to a site that's going to convert, or having a human being reach out and connect and actually have a discussion and give you something of value. I think it's going to be a lot more than 2 weeks, but 2 weeks is all he needs to scale that. And he's like, ah, man, if that works, I'll get 100 of them. I haven't talked to him in a while, but who knows?
But
It's a winning strategy that's grossly overlooked.
so let's go back to you, man. So like first year, like how much time did you spend on it? Like ballpark, right?
Probably 4 or 5 hours a day.
Okay, which is that? I mean, that's a big commitment. But the beautiful thing about it is you really understand your market if you do that, right? And then if you're looking at that, so you got to put in the elbow grease initially,
Yeah.
get a little knuckles a little bloody there, right? So, but then so I like the concept of what you're saying is like hiring a writer, doing that. You
Like
mentioned
you said,
writing
you
as
get to
well.
understand your market. You can drive your business by understanding the responses of the community, and it's different when you're in touch with your market, when you're actually like eating from the same side of the table as them and understanding what's going on in their lives. Man, it changes the game.
Yeah. So then, how do you scale that over time, right? You just keep adding writers and then looking for different, you know, communities to kind of infiltrate or participate in.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of scale, and then there's an element of cap out, right? There's only so many answers you can give. You can scale your writers up. I think it works better in e-commerce. I think it works much better in e-commerce and something measurable. You look at every writer and you go, okay, uh, I can afford a $120 cost per acquisition. You owe me 2 sales a week, right? Here, go tackle this and answer all the questions. Um, and you can scale. I think e-commerce companies are grossly underlooking this type of strategy. From a regular SaaS business perspective, yeah, it's got a I don't want to say a shelf life, but it's got a monthly cap to it, and then it's how else do you reach your customer. So I do a lot of panels. I do a lot of podcasts like this. At some point, damn it, we might buy ads. I don't know. It's probably going to come. We'll probably stay very competitive, and just continue to market our comparison against Schmuckwork. Say, hey, this is us. This is them. They're an 800-pound gorilla. I read a book not too long ago, a really good book. I think it was called David and Goliath. I can't remember, it might have been just Goliath. It was I think it was David and Goliath, and it was there's disadvantages and advantages and advantages and disadvantages. When you're young and scrappy, you can get a certain messaging out, and who who your who the other guy is considering, and you can mention and say, this is who I'm up against, and this is why. Um, and if I look at companies like that, and I think of Blockbuster, right? People didn't quite rush to Netflix because of sure, lying in bed naked and be able to watch movies is great, but like Netflix didn't start that way. It was like sending you a DVD. People didn't quite rush to that so much because of the convenience of it. Um, that was part of it, but I think they hated Blockbuster so much, and that was some customers came in there and kind of felt abused, right? And they were following the rules. They had every right to charge the late fees, but it was just like a nasty, not good feeling. And when Netflix came in with excuse me, an alternative that was more efficient, more cutting edge, more convenient, and not Blockbuster, that was a big win. So go to market strategy. I would say look at a problem that's in the industry. Look at how your competitors are addressing the problem, and then look at how you can solve the problem, even if you haven't solved it right away. Own own what own where you are, and strive to get to where you want to be. Um, I don't know if that helps with answer questions on
Well,
quota.
I mean, I think so. What you're talking about, I watched the documentary Netflix versus the World. Did you
Okay,
see that? It's
I
awesome. If
didn't.
it's on Amazon, and it's like a from the initial start to the first DVD being shipped out to when they tried to sell the Blockbuster to when Blockbuster, when they eventually, made an offer for Blockbuster to when Carl Icahn shut down. It's a really fascinating story. It hits on a lot of what you're talking about. And then, as you're talking though, one of the things that strikes a chord is, yeah, every strength can turn into a weakness, and every weakness can turn into a strength, right? And it's so funny because this is coming up a lot. Everything always happens in twos and threes, but I just had a branding expert on, David Breyer, earlier today, and he talks about creating your own category through looking at the marketplace, looking at what your competitors suck at, and then also looking at what you're stronger at, and then how much of a gap there needs to be versus you versus the competition. So I think there's some great stuff there that you just highlighted. So Michael, one of the things that, and we're getting close on time, so I want to be sensitive to that because I know you gotta go speak soon. So one of the things that I'm curious of is, and something fascinating is you have a company all on, freelancers, right? A really big company too, revenue amount for that size. How do you create an organization like that? That flows, right? And I mean, to go with your growth projections too are amazing. How do you do that? How do you create that? So if someone's looking to really grow in a capital efficient manner using freelancers like you, how do they make that happen?
Okay, well, first, the best thing to do is to read this book, Remote It, Winning with Freelancers by this guy, Michael Brooks. Love the book.
It's not a
uh,
plug.
Look, it's not without its bumps and bruises. Going full remote, decentralized, distributed, whatever you want to call it. Not being able to reach out and strangle people that you put trust in. Be like, ah, like it's an ultimate challenge. It comes down to culture. Like, how do you create a remote work culture? So if you're going to conduct business this way, um, one, be very careful on who you hire. Bring people on when you're bringing people on to be part of your company. Multiple interviews. Like, spend the extra time, have other people in your organization discuss. Um, you don't want to just say, "Hey, you've got a skill, we've got a need. Let's put you in there and have it work." I find with, at least for us, this type of distributed remote culture, um, remote work really really requires that people be a certain type of communicator, and that can work together remotely. It's not for everybody, and each remote culture is not the same. Um, Other things like all hands meetings and different things to connect companies, little spiffs, those are fun. I mean, I have people in this company that I absolutely love. That when we have relatives or animals die, we'll sit around and talk for hours, and we toast on each other's birthdays. But I've never actually physically met them, which I can't wait to. Before the pandemic, I was flying out all the time, meeting with meeting with people. That's important. It helps a lot having those times where, if you can do it, to get out. If not, having somebody dedicated that can fly out once or twice a year and just go meet with people. Um, that's I find that very helpful. We have a team in Belarus. We work with an agency out there, and they have their team of freelancers, and we work with other people that aren't part of that group. And I was like, it was a long time ago, before all the crazy stuff. Most of them are gone or all distributing now. They're all over the place. But there was like the biggest rock band in that region was playing, and it was super super cheap to get them really good floor seats. So I just got everybody floor seats and sent them all clothes, and they wore their shirts. And so finding a way to fun and creative ways to create culture and give people a sense that they're part of your company, that they're part of what you're doing, and that even though they're far away. We've won a few awards, right? Uh, when we actually get the award, they give you an opportunity to give one to other members of your company. If it's in a specific area, we'll send those to certain people, just so that that have been a part of that particular acknowledgement. and that seems to go a really long way and build a lot of trust. And then there's just treating people like human beings, right? Somebody has a relative die, somebody's going through something challenging. Uh, what's the harm in saying, okay, no worries, take a week or two off, and then we'll just pay you, right? You're not required to, but it's the right thing to do, and it's a
Hmm.
good thing to do. And I'm not saying that you should do that or you need to do that for everybody, or really anybody. But if there are people that you care about, that you want to demonstrate, let me put it this way: when you get the opportunity to show good people that you work with that you care about them and that you're a support for them, I think you should take it. You should seriously consider taking it. If somebody's having a hard time and you can ease their financial stress, you don't have to work this week. You don't have to work next week. It's fine. Take this off. We're still going to pay you your full amount. Just go be with your family. And you can take that opportunity to support them. Man, that comes back in spades. It comes
Hmm.
back in spades. People come back knowing that they have a better sense. So that's breaking down. That type of stuff is breaking down the global walls of the you're over there, I'm over here. This is our team. And you do this for as cheap as we possibly can get you done. That kind of sick thinking, I think, is over. I think people are now realizing it doesn't matter where in the world people are, if they're building on your vision, if they're supporting your enterprise, they deserve, and it's in your best interest to be as supportive as possible and treat them with the respect you would anybody else that's in your organization.
Awesome, man. I love that. I think that's it's a great moral framework for just being good to people and treating them right. And I imagine there's amazing culture you have as because of it. So we are just about up on time. So where can people find you? Where can they find out more about goLance? And then we'll wrap it up, man.
Yeah, bro. GoLance.com, GOLANCE.com. I'm on the Twitter at Michael Brooks PR. Michael Brooks, Puerto Rico. PR stands for Puerto Rico. That's where I live. Um, Hit me up, and that's where we're living these days.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for being on the show. It was awesome hearing your story and your views on your team and how to grow an organization. So thanks for being on.
Ryan, thank you. It's a pleasure.